All right, y'all, welcome back. Happy Monday and happy week 0. We will be having some college football games this week. Tennessee's in kind of like a mock game week right now. Obviously, we just named Joey Aguilar as our starting quarterback yesterday, and Syracuse came out and named Steve Angeli as their starter earlier today. So in this video, we're going to be breaking down Steve Angeli inside of the film room and also with his stats. Y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And I'm going to start this thing off by saying that I'm a little shocked that Ricky Collins didn't get the start for Syracuse, because I think that from just like a sheer skill perspective, he is the better option for Syracuse. I think that he can probably do more with less. He could probably make more plays. But Coach Brown said that he wants a quarterback that's the best leader. So I guess that's Steve. And some of y'all might recognize Steve's name because back in the spring, whenever Nico left, he was one of the quarterbacks that we actually broke down his film. And we said, would he fit into Tennessee's system? And I don't think that he really does, just because of like the arm strength, some of the different things that Tennessee needs to operate, Coach Heupel's system. I don't think that he too much has those skills. So Joey Aguilar was the better option, but we will be showing y'all his stats versus Joey Aguilar. So obviously this is Joey's. This is in 2024. That's his line. This is Steve's line. And then this is also Riley Leonard, who was the starter for Notre Dame last season. And Steve was more of like a backup. These are the grades from PFF. And I don't really focus on their grades just because I don't think, sometimes it's off. Most of the time, to me, it is off. But you can see the dropbacks that Steve had last year, only 45, so very, very small sample size. And Joey had about twice the dropbacks that Steve did. As far as passes, Steve went 24 of 37 for about 65%. Which is very good. I think that that's great. Obviously, like whenever he came in, it was mop-up duty. Notre Dame was up big. There was a couple of times when I think like Riley Leonard might have went down and Steve had to come in for like a couple of plays here and there. But he's a pretty solid quarterback. I just don't think that, I think that Tennessee did make the right choice. And we also talked about this on our Patreon, patreon.com/Bluechip Breakdown. So members there, they already know how I feel about this. But we will go through some more of these stats, right? Like y'all can pause and look at anything that you want to. I'm not going to go through every single stat line, but right here, touchdowns. Steve had 3 to 0 picks. All right, he was sacked 6 times. Joy was sacked 14 times. Scrambles, Steve scrambled twice. And a scramble is you're dropping back to actually pass the football, but then you scramble. It's not like a called run. And Joey was at about 30 scrambles, so very similar if you look at all of their dropbacks and things like that. So let's keep on going. So average time to throw, you can see that Joey, he was the quickest. A lot of that's going to be based off of the scheme. I think that really App State and Notre Dame scheme, there's a lot of like 3-step drop stuff, so quick game stuff. But I think that Joey did a better job of maybe getting the football out of his hands quicker. And you can see that Steve, he was the second fastest at 2.7 seconds. And we'll just keep on going. There's a couple more things that I want to show y'all. So this is the quarterback rating. You can see that Steve, again, very small sample size. He had the best quarterback rating at 113. And running yards, Steve had 9. And if you look right here, this is the yards per carry column. So Steve was at 4.5 yards per carry, and Joey was at 8.1. Now understand, if you go and look at ESPN, right, they're going to factor in sacks. So that number total, like I think for Joey Aguilar might have been at like 2.8 or like 3.2 yards per carry, something like that. So, that looks like maybe Joey Aguilar would be good with his legs. I just don't think for this season on this level, I don't think that that's a weapon that he needs to try to utilize too much. If it's there, of course, take what's there. If you can run, then run. But, with all that being said, you can see that, Steve, he was on an even like lower level from that standpoint. But we'll keep on going through, and we'll also talk about that, just like pure accuracy. So this is talking about ball placement. Are you throwing the football in a spot where only your pass catcher can make the catch and the defense can't really make a play on it? And Steve was doing that at about 66%. This is the scary thing. Joey Aguilar was at about 47%, which obviously is absolutely horrible. I don't see any world, y'all, where he plays on that level or worse for Tennessee and he continues to be our starter. That's just not going to happen, because that will be a whole lot of turnover, so on and so forth. But I think that if he just manages ball games, that should look a lot better if he's not pressing as much as he had to last season. But yeah, you can see that Steve, very, very accurate quarterback. You know what I'm saying? He's the pretty much prototype game manager. I think that if he came to Tennessee, he'd be like a prototype backup. But let's talk about him inside of this film room. And the first place that I always look at with quarterbacks is like with their legs. Is this a dual threat guy? Okay, that's first and foremost. You got to get that figured out. So as we touched on, Steve is not really that guy. Okay, he does a good job. You know what I'm saying here. This is a clean pocket. You know, there is some pressure kind of coming off of that left side, but he sees it and he also sees, hey, there's a lane here. Does a good job of, I'm just going to scamper here. Now I don't know who this is. Might be Stanford, could be some other program, whatever. But he is short of the sticks. So once he did kind of make a guy miss. We'll see it again from this end zone copy. He can kind of make some people miss. He's got pretty decent speed. All right. I mean, I would expect for our linebackers to make that tackle instantly, 10 out of 10 times. But once he sees, hey, I'm pretty much dead to rights, there's nothing else. He's not going to try to go through a tackle. He's not going to go out of his way to try to make someone miss. That's just not who he is. So here you can see pretty much kind of like same thing. There is some pressure coming, makes that guy miss. And on this one, he actually gets past that line to gain. All right. So see it again on this boot. Really nice job there. You know, that's not. And also, I think he has good vision, follows his blocks well. So, again, just not a threat with his legs. Now, you can also see some of his sacks. Everything's covered up down the field. He will try to make some things happen just as far as, man, like, let me move around and see, can someone else get open? He's looking at that wide receiver that fell down up at the top of the screen. And once he falls down, then pretty much Steve's going to do the same thing. Like, he's not going to try to do anything extra. He's not afraid to take those sacks. This could have maybe been a called run just based off of, there's a few people kind of blocking downfield. So if you threw this, then, I mean, there would have been a penalty thrown, I'm sure. And then really no one's even kind of like looking for the football as far as his pass catchers. So I don't know what happened there, but obviously he just takes the sack. Can't make real like skill players miss out in space. That's not something that we need to worry about by any means. I think that we should be able to eat, y'all. You know, I think that our front four, our front seven with the blitzes, and hopefully the whole daggum team. Let's get some cornerback blitzes too, all right? Because he's not super mobile. Bring the pressure from the outside, make him have to step up into the pocket. We should be able to get there. You know what I mean? I think we should have several sacks coming up in a couple of weeks. So these are big-time throws. I would almost classify this as kind of like an NFL sort of a throw. These are not going to super wow you, but this is a slot fade. I think this is a very well-placed football, beautiful throw. It's only about 30 or 40 yards down the field. I mean, this is a throw that high school quarterbacks should be able to make. All right, I'm not going to say that they do it all the time, but you should be capable of making this throw. There was a little bit of pressure that kind of, fell in on him there, but he just stood in there, made the throw. This is a post here. Kind of same thing. I'd call this about a 45-ish yard pass, not super, like, high level, nothing like that. I mean, he's got plenty of space to be able to throw that. There's a whole lot of room there. You just drop it in there nice and soft. So he can do that. You know what I mean? Like he does, he does have the skill set to be able to do those types of things. Now this right here, this is showing some juice. This is one of the only plays that I actually saw some juice. He almost got sacked there, stays up, and then he's able to make a pretty good pass there. So now these are like his bad passes. Every quarterback's going to have them. All right. Like I'm not picking on Steve. I think that he's pretty solid option at quarterback, but he's just not going to scare you, right? So everything's clean there. He just misses that one. Again, that's going to happen with every single quarterback, happens sometimes. This one really, I think that the ball placement was actually pretty good. So this is a fade. He tries to back shoulder this. Clean pocket. It throws it in the spot where only his wide receiver can make that play. So you do like those types of things. And then you're seeing here moving to his right. We've seen him kind of like moving to his left. So does a good job throwing from the pocket, kind of throwing whenever that pocket has to move to his right or to his left. Not afraid to take a daggum shot and try to throw it down the field here. He had a guy wide open. This really should have been 6, but he just misses him here. Ball sails on him. That one probably should have been picked. Okay. So on this one, so he's throwing this on like an out or maybe like a corner route to his tight end. Just misses him, right? Moves over just to taste. I think he has pretty decent pocket presence. It's definitely not horrible. Now, this is just like his typical operation. This is what he does. Again, this is a different system than what Syracuse runs. I love Syracuse passing system, y'all. I think that it's really, really good. You'll see a lot of different variants to it. 5 wide, kind of bunch things up tight. But most of the time, they want to try to spread you out. Last season, very, very heavy, like pass first team. They'll probably at least try to be more balanced, I think, in 2025. But that's really not going to help them because Tennessee's run defense is going to be very, very stout. I think Tennessee's run defense and run offense is like the best part of our teams every year with Coach Heupel. Don't think that that's going to change in 2025. But the field will kind of get spread out enough that he's going to get some one-on-one situations with some of this like 3-step drop stuff. So like slants, hitches, maybe some drags, maybe some fades, so on and so forth. But Tennessee's secondary is very deep. And I think that we will be fine for the most part. Coach Banks is going to have a good game plan dialed up. I'm not saying that they're not going to hit on any passes. Things will be there, okay? They will hit on some stuff. But for the most part, it's going to have to be quick game stuff just because our front four can get there probably without having to blitz too much. We're going to dial up some blitzes, I'm sure, and then they have a probably higher chance of actually getting there, but it also might leave a little hole for Steve to be able to dump it off, which I think he'll do a pretty good job of. I just don't see too much of a reason for Tennessee fans to be worrying with this one, but I do want to make sure that I say one final time that Tennessee made the right choice, I think, in picking Joey Aguilar to be our guy, just because I think that he could probably do more for us. If he just manages ball games, kind of like what you're seeing Steve doing here, then I think that we'll be perfectly fine. It's funny because Steve is going to be walking into a situation where he has to kind of do more of the opposite. Yeah, he can manage games, but I don't know how many ball games Syracuse is going to win just based off of their talent if that's all that he's doing. He's going to have to make more plays than Joey Aguilar is going to be asked to make, I think, especially in this game. So feeling pretty confident. Of course, we're going to be breaking this game down more once we get closer to kickoff, but y'all please leave your thoughts down in that comment section and make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll probably be talking to y'all tomorrow. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching, and please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.